if I got the wrong person, I do apologise to them, but I don't know what or when happened leading up to that. And the same bully at that school was in a group that was making a short film in English, and we were meant to film a stunted fight scene, but he saw an opportunity to make it a real punch, and I ended up with a black eye. And it was around this time of my life where I was diagnosed with having absence epilepsy seizures, and I didn't know how to deal with that. My poor mother struggled to cope with the effects of what I was dealing with, and I was facing the potential life of not having a car license or being able to cross the street on my own or living a normal life. And there was lots of things I wanted to do with my life. At the time, I wanted to be a policeman, a firefighter, even an airline pilot. But all those dreams were washed away when that diagnosis came in, because they wouldn't accept me. And one absence seizure that I remember clearly was I was making a sandwich and I had a seizure, and my mum didn't know exactly what was going on because it wasn't diagnosed at that time, but I came round to her screaming at me, and I panicked, threw the margarine into the sink and ran out the door and ran up the street. I didn't know where I was going or what I was doing, but yeah, that freaked me out. Luckily for me, I have outgrown my epilepsy. There are people out there that aren't so lucky. I have a close friend that has had this come into her family and her child, and to this, for the rest of my life, I will put my support to that friend so they can get through what my family went through. And through all this bullying and circumstance that I had been going through, there were depressive moments that I went through, dark places. After I left school, I went dairy farming, and my first couple of years of dairy farming, I applied for a job that was advertised as a farmhand. I got given the job, but a week or two into the job, the boss said, "I hired you as a farm manager. I need you to work as a manager." And that flipped me out, and I was getting complaints and hassles from him on a daily basis, and I just had enough. I remember being on the phone to my mother saying, "I can't stand this anymore. I want to die." And to say those words to my mother, I'm sure at the time it broke her heart. Her 19-year-old son was struggling. And at the time, I had no idea of how to get myself out of it or what to do. I managed to find a job on another farm where I moved to, and whilst moving there, I was involved in a very nasty car crash. Don't ever drive 120 k's on gravel when you're not experienced or a rally driver. It doesn't end well. This is around the time where I was having my family members, extended family, tell me that my grandmother was not well. And I thought, oh, she's probably just got a flu or something, she'll get better soon. And they continued to tell me, she's not well, you need to talk to her. So I summoned up the courage and phoned her, and she told me the words that it was heartbreaking to hear, that she had stomach cancer and not long left to live. And this was only a month or two after my serious car crash, which in hindsight I think probably should have killed me, but seatbelt saved my life. But that could have been a double tragedy for my family, because a month after that phone call, my beloved grandmother took her last breath, and the family lost one of its strongest parts. And not long after that, because of the grief and being sad, my work suffered, and I got asked to leave by my boss. Then I had to scramble to find work, which I couldn't find. I had to end up going back to move back home with Mum and basically start again. And in the process, I found a best friend who stuck by me and took me under his wing and got me to places where I didn't think I could get to. And later on started to get back on my feet and happy and doing fun things, and eventually got to work with him again. And just after he had bought his own pizza shop with other people, I managed to start working in his shop. But then tragedy hit and we lost him to an accident. And the sudden loss of him had a deep and lasting impact on me mentally. A month after he passed away, I got very sick,